Mr. President, Madam Director General, distinguished delegates of the General Conference, it is indeed a great pleasure and honor for me to attend the long-awaited 41st session of the General Conference in Presencia. While entirely sharing UNESCO values, my country fully supports the draft medium-term strategy for 2022-29 and the draft program and the budget for 22-25. We believe that they are a solid foundation for achieving the SDG in the UNESCO fields of competence by 2030. We trust in the leading role of UNESCO in elevating global shocks and suffering caused by them in its areas of competence. And more to the point, Ukraine is ready to join programs and activities of UNESCO dedicated to its global priorities, Africa and gender, by sharing our expertise in preserving cultural heritage, managing education systems, introducing innovative digital technologies, and in other areas concerned. My country continually promotes gender equality, which is a top priority for the government of Ukraine. Ukraine also considers relevant the UNESCO strategies aimed to support a priority group, small island developing states. They are facing climate change emergencies, inequalities concerning income, systematic threats to their cultural and natural heritage and their existence, and we cannot but acknowledge that the resources allocated to the programs in this area are insufficient. Another priority group, young people, requires and deserves our heightened attention and consistent support. To spread UNESCO humanistic values and principles, philosophy of being dedicated to the values of UNESCO, among children and youth, we have also recently launched a nationwide contest among the UNESCO-associated schools, Healthy Planet, Healthy People, Common Responsibility, Joint Efforts, My Vision of the Future. In such a way, we wish to foster the generation of Ukrainian boys and girls for the planet and its mankind and their responsibility for the mankind in the future. Mr. President, referring to the noble mission of our organization, which is building peace in the minds of men and women, I cannot but mention the situation in the temporarily occupied Crimea, where human rights and values of UNESCO are being persistently ignored and violated. And this is also of my personal pain, as I used to live in Crimea before 2014. Hundreds of political prisoners of Kremlin are being held in Crimea behind bars, or unlawfully transferred to the Russian territory. Most of them are Crimean Tatars. Russian occupation administration in Crimea violates the right for education in native language. Education in Ukrainian language, for example, is available only to 0.2% of school children in Crimea. Only 3% of children of Crimean Tatars study their native and mother tongue. The number of Crimean Tatar schools has significantly reduced. Of particular concern is the comprehensive militarization of education and propaganda of war among minors. Over the past few years, several invaluable World Heritage properties on the peninsula have been completely or partially destroyed. The UNESCO report on the situation in the temporarily occupied Crimea, issued in November 2020, noted the illegal transfer of cultural artifacts to the territory of Russian Federation. Recent large-scale barbaric restoration works at the World Heritage Site in the ancient city of Taure Khersones and its Kora, and the Hans Palace in Bakhchisarai, which is the remnant of the Crimean Tatar architecture and culture, seriously threaten the universal value. The Russian Federation destroyed religious monuments of Crimean Tatars. More than 19 Crimean Tatar Muslim burial monuments were ruined during the construction of Tavrida Highway. Freedom of speech is practically destroyed. Russia forced the independent media out of the peninsula and persecutes human rights defenders, civil journalists, and activists. We appreciate the efforts made by UNESCO Secretariat, and in particular by Madam Director General, aimed to end this lamentable situation by monitoring the situation in the peninsula. Having regard of the consecutive decision follow-up of the situation in the Autonomous Republic of Crimea, Ukraine, adopted by the last session of the Executive Board, we are looking forward to comprehensive monitoring of UNESCO in the upcoming year. Madam Director General, we also commend your efforts and your activities during the most challenging period of UNESCO existence. You have managed to maintain UNESCO functioning operative capacities during the crisis. We, of course, congratulate you on having been re-elected for the second term. Dear colleagues, finally, let me mention the crucial role of the national commissions for UNESCO in implementing noble goals of our organization and promoting its values at national levels. National commissions are an important and integral element of UNESCO construction. And as a National Commission of Ukraine for UNESCO over a year ago, we launched a comprehensive reform process to enhance our contribution to the mission of UNESCO. We are going to promote new dimensions like gender equality and digitalization. This year, Ukrainian National Commission, together with the Ukrainian President, in order to commemorate the 75th anniversary of UNESCO, launched the virtual flash mob. Of course, we were restricted of traveling and seeing the beauty of cultural heritage of each other, but we could do so virtually. And I'm very thankful to the state of Qatar and to Turkey for joining this flash mob and producing their video clips in accordance to Ukrainian initiative. We also initiated creation of a tree alley in the Kyiv Botanical Garden. This was done with the UN coordinator in Ukraine. Now we call for other national commissions to join this initiative in their countries. Preserving ecosystems and natural heritage should be in the spotlight of our organization. I wish to conclude my speech by saying that if elected to the executive board, Ukraine will be very much determined to safeguard all of the UNESCO values, all of the priorities I have just mentioned, and actively promote its ambitious and progressive agenda. I thank you very much. Sağ olunuz.